the properties area, whenever you go into your properties, you can track all your properties, your listings, your transactions. One of the things that we had in here previous to the update, we did have this estimated proceeds section. It worked, it just wasn't that great. And I got with one of the Copilot users, and it's like, hey, can we do this? So we significantly improved this section in here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand this just so I can dedicate to this. But if you go into the estimated proceeds section, and this kind of looks all new, all different, you now have the ability, excuse me, to set up different types of pricing options. So it will default in there with the actual listing price. So whatever price you have in the listing details, if you've got 750,000 or whatever number you have in here, it will use that as the main piece for doing this. The other thing is for the listing agent and buyer agent percentages, it can help use those within the estimated closing cost pieces. But what happens is this. I can come in, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one just so that you see how this works. Whenever you first come in, it's going to come in with the first one in here. You may not have any of your estimated closing costs in here the way you like them. It may have some, I'm not sure what all it defaults in there, but in this gear field here, the gear icon, you can click on that gear icon and you can set up all of your standardized closing cost items, things that you normally have in your closing costs, your fees, your different types of things. They can be flat fees, like, you know, a wire fee. If you set that up, it can be a fixed amount, say $50. And I use that all the time. So I'm going to keep that as an auto add. So it'll automatically add it to my closing costs screen whenever I start a new one. This little checkbox automatically adds it. You can come in here and add additional items. So if I come in here and say add a new default, maybe I want a a title insurance item in there. I can do it as a flat fee. It wouldn't really make sense for this here, but $650, you can put that in. Or there's different types of things. You can say a percentage of the sales price. So maybe it's if we wanted to set this up for the buyer's agent percent, I could come here and say, well, use the buyer agent percent field that's in the listing, or if I don't have something in there, default it with 3%. In which case it will use whatever's in the main field. Otherwise it'll default it to this, and I can calculate it and it would add that. Maybe instead of a percent for this, I want to use a X per Y calculation. This would be something like, and you can base it off of city, state, or zip. Maybe you've got different city areas that have different amounts in there for different things. But what you might do is maybe I add a city of Bolivar. I'm just going to put Bolivar in here, Missouri. And maybe it's a flat fee for my piece, and I can just put that for this state of or city of Bolivar. It's a flat fee. Or I can say X per Y. And I can say for every $1,000 in price, I'm going to charge $5 for whatever this is. So this might be some kind of city tax, whatever. So in the city of Bolivar, every $1,000 of price is going to cost $5. I can make that a default, and it would calculate it for me. So X per Y is an option. Some cities may do it like this. Some cities may say, well, no, we're just going to do a flat fee of $60. So you can do it that way as well. The other thing would be a price break. So I could say, well, for anything that's priced $100,000 or more, then it's going to be $30. If it's priced over, actually, I should say 100,000. If it's priced over 150,000, then it's 35. And you can just add in, all your different price breaks and what those fees are. Now we have, if you've got the entire list in a spreadsheet or something, you can just paste them in, and it will add in all those values for you as a big chart. So you can just lop them all in at once and it'll fill in the entire report for you. But what this does then is each one of those different things, whether it's tiered, whether it's by county, by city, or whatever, you can have all your defaults set up so that whenever I start a new listing and I have the sales price, maybe I have an estimated closing of going to be on the 30th of the month or whatever, possibly, then it can calculate all the numbers. It can calculate the prorated taxes. The taxes come from the property field for its taxes. So it can give you that estimated price range or estimated proceeds. You then could come in here and say, well, that would be at 750,000. Maybe we can go with a higher priced at 850,000. Actually, this is the name of this. So we go a high price of 850,000 is maybe a choice. In which case, if I do that, my numbers are going to be different. There's different taxes, different fees, different everything. So then I can compare the two different options with them to see, okay, if you go with your normal price, your estimated proceeds could be at 356 versus 449 if we go with the higher price. So you can do different things there. You could then come in here and say, well, maybe I want a lower price. So maybe I come in here and do a lower price version. Say, realistically, we really need to be looking about, $700,000. And if we do the $700,000, then your estimated proceeds is at, 309. So you've got some different options based off of what you want to do. It could vary based off of how we sell and all this kind of stuff. But then you can come up here to the print, and you can print all of these different pieces and show all the outcomes of what you want for each one of those. So it gives you the net sheet on every one of them with all the different closing costs and stuff based off of what you've entered in those. Print those out, give them to your seller, and then help them to come up with a good price. The other thing that it does do, just to let you know, is whenever you create that, it does automatically add it to your files as the net sheet, and it automatically tags it as net sheet.
And you can
whenever it does that, you can then set up an email that automatically sends attachment of net sheet, so that it automatically sends that net sheet once it's created.
Okay.
So, and then you can see all your different versions, versions. This has lots of different versions, but it'll show you your current version, and then you can see each subsequent version that you've created. I've created a lot of versions off of this. I'm just testing it, but you can go to older versions after you've created them as well. And the other thing is any of these that you set up, you can set them up to automatically add, but you can also set them up. Say, for instance, I'm going to add another one here for my extra super tax amount of $1,000, just because I feel like I want to get $1,000. Okay, well, if I did it like what I just did, it defaults it on, but I really should have come in here and said, no, I don't want that added all the time. But not that you would do this, but what you can do is say load I can reload everything. So it just reloads all of my defaults. But if I have some that I don't have as default, I can add them afterwards. So I can come here and put in whatever, if you've got an admin fee or any kind of junk fees, I don't advise that, but this allows you to deal with things that you use occasionally but not always. You could create it as not default but still add it when you need to, so then it would add it to the list.